ओके आज का वीडियो जो है इट्स ऑन साइकिलिंग अ मरीन टैंक। मे बी थोड़ा सा लंबा वीडियो होगा, सो ग्रैब अ कप ऑफ कॉफी, sit down and pay attention because this is the most important thing when you're setting up a marine tank. All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about cycling. Now, cycling is a very simple concept, right? Simple as when we set up a new tank, freshwater or marine, you put some media in. You put something which will start the cycling process, which will convert the ammonia to nitrite and nitrite to nitrate, and that's when people say, yeah, cycling ho gaya. But the thing is, in terms of a marine setup, cycling can be as simple as what I told you, or it can be extremely professional. Now, what we are going to do in today's video is go through the different types of cycling processes, methodologies जो लोग use करते हैं. And before I start, I'm not criticizing anyone here. There is no wrong method. There are different approaches. So, what I'm going to do is go through different types of cycling in the order of least priority according to me. सबसे पहले मैं जो बोलूंगा मैं वो कभी नहीं करूंगा. जो मैं सबसे लास्ट बोलूंगा वो मैं that's how I cycle my tanks. On that same note, let us start off with a good story. Now, who doesn't like a good story? I can't see. Recently, me and my son, we were on our weekly trip, as usual, going to a fish shop because we wanted to get a pixie hawk, जो किसने हमारे लिए मंगा लिया था, and no, it was ready to be to go into the tank. उसका वीडियो भी है. I'll leave a link for you to check it out. But when we went there, I had set up a small macro algae tank जो cycling हो रहा था, and that's the reason I'm including this in this video. So we found a fish who was nearly abandoned. So me and my son, we saw the fish. Originally, import documents के हिसाब से it was supposed to be a crosses damsel. It was not. It looked like a surge damsel to me, but again, clear signs नहीं था. So ultimately, we decided, we thought maybe it's a surge damsel. It turned out to be an ambon damsel. And me and my son, we named him Gumbo because he looks like a bubble gum. So I'll put a video first of that marine algae tank with Gumbo in it. Have a look at it. I basically cycled that tank in less than a week's time. Yes, you heard me right. Less than a week's time. And I have put a fish inside. But what we are going to talk about in the cycling, lot of those scientific approaches were applied for me to hit that stage so fast. So let's see that video, meet Gumbo, and we'll continue with the cycling talk. Alright, cycling. मेरा personally least preferred method of cycling. Now I divide this into two parts. Cycling with a fish, cycling without fish. So the first part is cycling with fish. Technically, it is not wrong. People put mollies, people put clowns, people put damsels on their tank and start cycling process. Technically right, ethically wrong. I am never in for cycling your tank with a fish in it. Because every fish has a right to live a good life. As you saw in Gumbo's video, he's an ambon damsel, so he's in a macroalgae tank. And we'll be getting more ambon damsels for him to live that fulfilling life. जब हम लोग fish लेके आते हैं, it's our ethical, moral duty to give it a good life. So I'm against that cycling with fish. What happens is, you're putting the fish in a tank, it's generating ammonia, there's nothing to cycle the ammonia, ammonia is getting built up, then the bacteria comes in which is converting the ammonia to nitrite and nitrates. Now in this video, I'm not going deep into what is cycling, but I'm just mentioning what the cycle is. So number one, cycling with fish, big no for me, I never do that. Now in fishless cycles, there are three different approaches you can take, right? The first approach that people take is it's called ghost feeding. अब इसको ghost feeding क्यों बोलते हैं? आपके टैंक में फिश है ही नहीं, आप खाना खिला रहे हो, right? What is happening is वो खाना सड़ रहा है अंदर, अमोनिया प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, एंड वो अमोनिया प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, इसके लिए बैक्टीरिया सेट इन होता है, वो अगेन द साइक्लिंग प्रोसेस हैपेंस. दैट इज कॉल्ड ghost feeding. Now, why I don't like ghost feeding? In my least priority list में number 2 में है ghost feeding. Why I don't like ghost feeding is a simple fact that जैसे in the previous videos we saw rocks, media, everything that goes into your tank. And one of the main problem with marine aquariums is nitrate and phosphate going out of control. तो आप ghost feeding करते हो, you're also ghost seeding your rocks with phosphate, especially phosphate. और वो ऑर्गेनिक फॉस्फेट जाके डीप इनसाइड द रॉक्स बैठता है, साइकिल हो जाता है, यू आर गेटिंग वेरी हैप्पी, देन यू आर इंट्रोड्यूसिंग योर फिशेस, डूइंग एवरीथिंग दैट यू आर डूइंग टू अ मरीन टैंक, एंड देन सडनली one fine day hair algae and all the unwanted algae start creeping up. Now that is the major reason I don't like ghost feeding for cycling. This was the second method. Third method, getting media or rocks from a established marine aquarium. This is something that I would recommend and I have done personally. जो टैंक मैंने पहले स्टार्टिंग में वीडियो में आपको दिखाया था, lot of the credit of that initial cycling and ugly face फटाफट निकलना is because I used media from an existing tank. You can do that, मगर इसमें भी risks जो हैं, you don't know the strain of bacteria which are present in that rock. You don't know the nitrate, phosphate, parasites that are there in that rock. Parasites include unwanted tapeworms. Parasites can include, your aptesia. It can be anything. You don't know. आप वो risk उठा रहे हो. In any of these previous methods which I told you, always be in the habit of dosing bacteria and a carbon source for the bacteria. Because without you developing, propagating the bacteria will not grow. It will not have anything to feed on. So your cycling process will be, weak, and microcycles will start coming in. So all these previous processes, irrespective of what you have done, it's important that you dose good set of bacteria. Now, the most professional way of cycling and the way I like to cycle my marine tanks, I take it's like a painting. It's like it's like an artist, who is painting on a canvas. जैसे मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ, You need to be absolutely sure about the bacterial strains that you would want in your tank. Now, this is where I think the real part of the video is starting. पहले जो भी मैंने बताया था are not the ways I would do cycling of a tank. This is the way I would cycle my tank. Take a blank canvas, salt water, sterile rocks, sterile media, sterile sand. Right? Starting point. Now you need an ammonia source. What I like to do is introduce ammonia in form of dosing. I dose ammonia. अगर मैं मीडिया existing मीडिया नहीं यूज कर रहा हूँ, यहाँ मैं यूज भी कर रहा हूँ, I feed that bacteria with ammonia. So if you go to a website or anywhere, right, there are multiple brands. Fritz makes it, Dr. Tim's makes it, we make it. It is called cycling powder. It is nothing but a source of ammonia. I like to be extremely scientific and to the point. I would dose maybe half a ppm of ammonia because the powder hai, if you mix it up in 1 liter of water, there's a pre-calculated number of ml. If you dose say 25 ml, आपका ammonia will go to 1 ppm for every 100 liters. So accordingly, I like to dose half a ppm of ammonia in the first few days. Immediately what I would do is add any good bacteria. This is our bacteria, it's Octobac. There are 4 different strains of live, 4 different strains of synthetic bacteria, nitro and pseudo. You can use any bacteria, any good bacteria like Microbacter 7, ProBioS, the multiple bacteria in the market. Use a good bacteria, put an ammonia source, then feed that bacteria with carbon. Because carbon is what is going to feed your bacteria, multiply, consume the ammonia and develop colonies. Just for example, this tank, in one of the future videos, I'll tell you something weird about this tank. This is one of my experiment tanks, and you see a lot of experiments happening. This tank is just 4 months old. You can see coralline forming all over the tank. It has hit maturity very, very fast, and it was started with dry rocks. No pre-media, nothing. It was started in this method which I'm telling you. So you have to feed the bacteria, colonize each and every rock, nook, corners, glass with the bacteria that you want to develop in the tank. Not just random bacteria which is growing, uska mutation kuch aur hoga, uske baad microcycles will start. Now what are microcycles? Microcycles is there is a certain level of bacterial colony which has developed and suddenly it kind of crashes because a different strain of bacteria has started taking over the tank or a mutation is happening. Yeah, nutrients are fallen and dinoflagellates are coming up which is killing off the bacterial colony and the tank is going in reverse. A good reef tank or a marine tank will go through a couple of microcycles, sometimes 3-4 microcycles also, but they have to be controlled. It cannot be random microcycles. बहुत बार if you've seen that, if you heard that, कि 3-4 महीना हो गया, you have cycled your tank, everything is going great, and suddenly you put anemones and other, and suddenly everything is going kaput. Those are microcycles. If you don't follow a good cycling process, microcycles will be extremely devastating. Don't let that happen. Now, this is the way typically I would cycle a tank. To recap, have a source of ammonia, and 1 ppm of ammonia will translate to 3.6 ppm of nitrate. So if you're taking, if you're adding, cycling your tank with 3 ppm of ammonia in the cycling process, आपके nitrate kit में, I won't even check ammonia. Testing process, sorry, I didn't cover that. Let me cover the testing process. I will not check for ammonia. I will not check for nitrites also many times. My eyes will always be there on nitrates. क्योंकि मैंने यहाँ पे 3 ppm ammonia add किया, starting off with half a ppm and raising it slowly. Ultimately, I should end up with 10 ppm of nitrates, 10 to 12 ppm of nitrates. That's when my tank is cycling. And at that stage, I will add maybe 1 fish to start with. 1 fish. Nothing more. I will not go, buy 10 bags of fishes and put them in the tank. No, 1 fish. 1 fish a week afterwards. And then continuously my dosing of the bacteria and the carbon will continue. So at that stage, you're ready, good to go. Now, one final thing about cycling. This is very important for every marine aquarist to understand. हमारे सिस्टम में फुल साइकिल जा सकते हैं हम लोग. दैट इज नाइट्रेट्स में आके रुकता नहीं है गाड़ी. On a well cycled, well, no, a mature tank, you will also have the nitrates converting back to nitrogen. So if that is happening, great. But don't always, put your attention on getting the full cycle. It is not worth it because you're talking about anaerobics forming in your tank. That takes a few years and it can be dangerous also. We'll do a separate video on why anaerobics are dangerous and not desired. People often shoot for it. It's not always desired. So this is the cycling ka last bit, which is the full cycle. Do not aim for the full cycle in the first 1 year of your reef tank or a marine tank. It is dangerous. Avoid it. So these are the various aspects of cycling that I wanted to cover. In the next video, we are going to cover one more important aspect of marine aquarium keeping, that is the flow. If you see my tank here, you'll see turbidity, random hai. So the flow is very important. If imagine freshwater versus marine. Freshwater fishes stay in a river and the river moves straight. It is called laminar flow. If you dive inside a reef, it goes pulses. It throws randomly. So the marine fishes require different kind of flow. So we're going to cover flow in the next video. So stay tuned. And if you have any query, happy to help. Put a comment below. We always respond to each and every comment. Thank you.